No, it was me that was late. Hello, Nadine. All right, so I'm pulling up the questions now. What's up, Aaron? A little bit of sniffle still, but I'm getting through it. Okay, all right, let's get started. The first question is from William, and he asks, I have a problem with muscular imbalances, especially in my arms. I want to know how I can balance them out. Single movements are a really good option for that, right? So like let-me-ins, one-arm push-ups, movements where you're just using one side at a time is a really good way to fix those kind of imbalances. If you're using weights, dumbbells are great. And if you're doing one side at a time, I always start with the weak side. And I never do more than, so let's say I do 8 repetitions on the left side, which is my weaker side, then I only do 8 repetitions on the right side, right? Because obviously you want to correct that imbalance. Hello, Dust Strange. Winner asks, in the 90-day challenge, we sometimes train the same muscles day after day. So he wants to know what the principle behind that is. There's lots of different ways to program and apply stress, right? So like we're kind of like hung up in this bodybuilding sort of mentality where you do maybe like chest and tris on one day, or you do back and bis the next day, or that you have to always skip, or that you always have to have a full day of rest before you train again. Those are all legitimate ways of doing it, but there are other ways of doing it. So in the 90-day challenge, for example, after the first month, in the second month and the third month, you have 4 days where you train Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and there's nothing wrong with a little bit of cumulative stress. So you break yourself down, and then the next day you break yourself down again a little bit more, and your body will recover. There's lots of different ways to skin a cat. Think about like a farmer, or how we work in real life. In real life, when you're doing hard work, you're never isolating muscles, right? Like if you have farm work to do on Monday, you probably have farm work to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday as well. And that you'll still get strong from that and recover from it. Same with sprinters or any other kind of real athlete. They're using their entire body just about every day, right? So there's different ways to do that. Aaron asks, how do you incorporate myofascial release into your regimen? I think really the biggest part of all that is just to move properly, and your body adapts to the movements that you actually perform. So I think as far as like how your fascial system adapts, the most important part of that is using the correct movements. And the movements that you need are the ones, in my opinion, really that increase efficiency with your ability to get from one place to another. So locomotion. So Bodyweight Training 2.0, for example, and well, all of my exercise programs for the most part are designed to create muscular balance. Stretching is really good. And then beyond that, like I really believe that massage is essential to good health, you know, and it's kind of a shame that here in the United States, and I think in other parts of the world, that it's so expensive. But you know, with me now being 41, I just spend the money and get myself that weekly or I get a massage at least every other week, even though it's expensive. So I think that's really the best thing you can do. Foam rolling and all that is also good, but it's not as good as actually having a good massage therapist working on you. But again, the main thing, first and foremost, is how you're moving and how you're resting. You gotta relax, you gotta chill out, you gotta know when to stop. Hey, Ali, I'm good. All right, so let me get through these questions here first, and I'll get back to some of these other ones. Bianca asks if she can swap out exercises between bodyweight rehab and bodyweight training 2.0. And absolutely. Bodyweight rehab is basically a regression to 2.0. And both those programs are based on the same principles, where you train the isolated functions of the joints in the lying positions, and then you have transitions between lying and standing, which are the developmental movements, and therein really also lie fundamental athletic skills. And then you have some mobility exercises on the way up. So yeah, absolutely, like trade out exercises and get creative with it. I think the important part of it is just to like understand the basic principles on which bodyweight rehab and bodyweight training 2.0 are based. And that's really what the certification programs are for. And I guess I could do, those would actually be some really good questions for you to ask. Like, what are those principles on which my programs are based? And I guess it might be kind of difficult to know what questions to ask. So maybe that might be a good another live session where I basically explain those programs a bit better. Put simply, like bodyweight rehab, bodyweight training 2.0, they're about increasing efficiency and increasing your ability to get from one place to another place with greater ease, you know? So when we're doing these exercises, we're increasing strength, which is stability. It's really with the intention of habitualizing the postures that make force absorption the easiest. So we want a long, straight spine. We want to be able to move our limbs freely around a long, straight spine. So anyways, the short answer is yeah, you can swap those exercises out. Paul, he asks, what to do against weak wrists causing pain with push-ups? Try this. Turn your hands outward, and you can elevate your hands slightly so there's less of an angle, right? So maybe if you're using a mat, put this part of your hand on the edge of the mat so that your hands are not so flat, which is a greater angle. Elevate the back of your hand slightly on something, right? And then turn it out. And also warm up. You can do rotations. Just do different movements with your hands to warm them up properly. Johannes says that he only has about 20 minutes to train sometimes, and because his work is very demanding also, like what's the best thing that he can do? Or is it better to relax and postpone his training? You know, I think you have to play that one by ear, and you have to experiment and just try and find out what works for you. And just like there's so many variables. For example, like I don't know your age, Johannes, right? Like if you're 18 years old or 20 years old, my answer is gonna be very different than if you're 50, for example, right? Or maybe you're traveling a lot, or your sleep quality is not that great. Lots of different variables affect your ability to recover. And I think it's a very personal question. Basically what I would probably say is to vary it. Sometimes do 20 minutes of high intensity interval training, like for example, the workouts in the 90-day challenge, or the You Are Your Own Gym DVDs. And then other times do something that's a little bit more on the active recovery side, such as bodyweight rehab. And then also like probably one of the best solutions that's like right down the middle is to use the 20-minute, the smaller bodyweight training 2.0 workout that I recently published. And the reason I like bodyweight training 2.0 is that it's it's very comprehensive, right? So we have all the isolated functions of the joints covered. You're getting up and down off the ground, which is developmental. You have a little bit of like yoga type movements, and you have standing movements that you need to move up, down, forward, back, and side to side. So it covers everything, and it's not going to beat you up. I'm currently combining URU and Gym 1 and 2, and and doing Mobility RX during the off days. And he's basically doing 1 week of URU and Gym 1, and then 1 week of URU and Gym 2. And he's wondering if, let me try this, is that better? Oh, no, it doesn't work. He's wondering if it's better to alternate URU and Gym 1 and URU and Gym 2 on like leapfrogging them week to week. I would say it's better to just stick with URU and Gym 1 for, at least a month, and then moving on to URU and Gym 2. And the reason I say that is because I personally find that progress is very motivating, and it's harder to see that progress if you're mixing it up too much. So I like to have a little bit of consistency in the training or the movements that I use. So I want very varied training as far as like the type of movements that I use overall, but I like to go through periods where I'm focusing on specific skills so that I can improve them, see the improvement, and then move on to the next thing. So I wouldn't mix it up too much. A lot of these questions, it's basically like, most of these questions are about exercise programming. Like, how should I structure my workouts, and how should I vary my workouts? And that's really those are really the right questions to be asking. And in order to simplify that, for Mark Lauren On Demand, at the start of 2019, I don't know if it's going to be exactly like at January 1st, probably not. I'm going to create something like a live schedule or today's workout. The name's not set, where every day I release a workout that you guys are supposed to do. And it's going to be what I'm doing, right? And it's going to be a very comprehensive program that incorporates all the new content that I'm creating. And I think that's going to answer a lot of these questions, because my needs are not that different than your needs, right? Because I'm just a human being, and it doesn't really matter if you're a man or a woman, as long as the progressions are there that allow us to adjust the difficulty of the exercises. So I think I'm hoping that this live schedule that I'm gonna release is gonna answer a lot of these questions. And I'm pretty excited about it, because basically I would use an exercise program, I always use whatever exercise program I'm developing for you guys. And when I first started with the books, I would use a program for like a year and a half, and then maybe like a year and a half after that, you guys would start using it. So there's a big time gap between what I'm doing and what you guys are doing. Then with the DVDs, it was basically that time gap was reduced to about 6 months to a year. Now, with this live schedule that's coming out in 2019, you guys will be able to use the same program that I'm using just a few weeks after I'm using it. And you guys will be able to give me some real-time feedback on it, so I can adjust that exercise programming. And I'm hoping to learn a lot from it. Okay, I want my body to look at least close like yours, Mark. Bodyweight Training 2.0 alone, is it sufficient to do the job? I fear the answer is no. If I combine 2.0 with the 90-day challenge, will those two alone be all I need? Okay, so one of the things that you guys have to understand about getting a really strong physique is that you're only going to get a good physique by applying a lot of stress to your body, right? And you want to maintain that physique. So basically what that means is that you have to apply a lot of stress to your body for decades. And in order for you to be able to do that without hurting yourself, you have to you have to learn how to maintain the ideal joint alignment to absorb that force. So think of your body as a house or a bridge. If the parts aren't in correct alignment, you can't apply a lot of force to that structure, without damaging it. Your body's the exact same way. So what Bodyweight Training 2.0, it basically teaches you to maintain the correct alignment so that you can absorb more force safely, right? So regardless of what your goal is, Bodyweight Training 2.0 should always be a staple tool that maintains your foundation. Now, I would say using Bodyweight Training 2.0 and the 90-day challenge is probably, that's a lot unless you're using just like really small Bodyweight Training 2.0 workouts. I would say probably just do the 90-day challenge. You have to eat. You got to eat a lot. Like if you're training hard, you have to eat a lot. So a really basic general rule, which it's going to seem obvious, but it's harder to put into practice, is don't eat too much unless you're training hard. And if you want to build muscle, you have to eat. Like that energy has to come, that mass has to come from somewhere, right? So you have to constantly play with your training intensity, volume, and how much you're eating. So just stick to the 90-day challenge, and you guys got to be patient. I started working out when I was 12 years old, and unless I had like a broken ankle or a broken jaw or I was sick or something like that, I have not missed a week of training since I was 12 years old. I'm 41. It takes years. But stick to the basics. Nicholas says, your method is very good for general physical preparation, but I think you didn't build your physique with Bodyweight Training 2.0. Wink. Do you incorporate weight training, and if so, what do you recommend? I will say that my physique definitely looks much better since I started using Bodyweight Training 2.0, and I think having a very balanced and comprehensive movement vocabulary, it definitely shows in a person's physique. So I will say I absolutely did build my physique using Bodyweight Training 2.0. I would say like this symmetry and proportion has a lot to do with it, and the fact that at 41 I'm still able to apply the needed stress in order to add more muscle mass. Like adding muscle mass, you have to apply a lot of stress to your body, so it's not necessarily always like a healthy or great thing to do all the time. So I use Bodyweight Training 2.0 as my foundation, and I typically do those workouts anywhere from like 2 to 6 times a week, and then I'll do full body strength training 2 or 3 times a week. And again, like how I do that varies depending on the situation, and my best answer is really going to be that live schedule that I'm rolling out in 2019. And I'm gonna structure it so that you guys basically, like, you just log in, you check out today's workout, you do that workout, and some of those workouts are gonna be active recovery, some of them are gonna be full body strength training, some of them will be mobility workouts, and some will be a mix of everything. Another Mark asks, how many times a week can I train a particular body area? Like legs, upper body, etc. Is 3 a good maximum to train pull exercises, for example? As a general rule, strength training 3 times a week, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's a really easy way to program. But there's other ways to do it. But as a general rule, yeah, just use 3 times a week. So really, like, one of the best solution that I've found so far, one of the best solutions, is using Bodyweight Training 2.0 and Bodyweight Rehab as lower to mid-intensity workouts for active recovery and actually just maintenance and making sure you move really well. And then 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, doing 3 full body strength training sessions. And again, like, but the volume and the intensity of those strength training sessions and the bodyweight training 2.0 sessions, they need to be varied, you know? So, and I think there's a little bit of an art and science behind all that. It takes a lot of experience, which is, I feel like that's my job, you know? So again, in January, I'm gonna roll out my best program, and then based on your feedback, I'm gonna be adjusting those training cycles. Do you have any tips or tricks for maintaining a habit of training 3 times a week and sticking to the 90-day challenge program? You know, I think one of the best ways to develop a habit is to start small. You know, first of all, write yourself a plan, like know exactly where and when you're gonna train each day, right? Where and when, like be exact about it. In addition to that, start small. So if you're having a hard time sticking to the 90-day challenge, then start with something easier and smaller, like bodyweight rehab workouts. Start doing those 3-4 times a week, right? And like our brain is constantly measuring, like what am I gonna get out? What's gonna be the reward and what's gonna be the cost? So if the cost is high, especially in the beginning, the chances of you doing it go down. So again, like start super easy and small, and then progressively increase the volume and intensity. That's the best answer. And that was surf. Joe asks, I'm wondering about balance exercises. I have difficulty maintaining form while holding balance. Which is more of a focus, balance or form? They're the same, you know, so you really just have to struggle through it, stick with it, and drive on. You know, that's, you know, think about where you're gonna be in 3 years or 5 years or 10 years. You know, like if you guys have been training for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, that's awesome. But don't get discouraged. You know, these skills take time to develop, and really what you need, like how do you become good at something? Just repetition. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. But one thing that I would say, like maybe one workout you focus more on like the form, and you focus on one quality of whatever it is that you're trying to improve. Like maybe you just focus on your balance one workout, and for another workout you focus on some other quality of that movement. Sebastian asks a good question. How did your body change between the time I was a special operations guy and in terms of strength, endurance, size, and all that, and afterwards? I gained weight after I got out. So like because of all the running and swimming that we had to do, I never really got over 160 pounds. I don't know what that is in kilos, but yeah. So once I stopped running, I was able to gain a lot more muscle mass. And I finally realized that in order for me to gain muscle mass, I gotta eat. I have to eat a lot. So I started drinking like really big, high calorie smoothies. And that's finally when I got up over 160 pounds. Now that I'm a little bit older, it's easier for me to gain weight. I don't have to eat that much anymore, thank goodness. I used to eat like it was a job. It was gross. So now if I eat a lot, like I'll fast on Sundays as well. Because I really think like eating a lot and getting all that muscle mass and stuff, like it's all stress on your body. You know, like we live in a society or we come from cultures where we really value like big bodies and strength and stuff like that. But I'll be honest, like as a special operations guy, when I was 155 pounds, or 157 pounds, that's when I was in fantastic shape. I could run 3 miles at an 18-minute pace, do 30 pull-ups, and then go bench press 225 for 16 reps. So my pound for pound strength was really like through the roof. The only reason I'm really like a little bit bigger than it's for marketing purposes, to be totally honest, right? Like I know you guys like bigger bodies and stuff like that. And you know, at 157 pounds, I think I look great with my clothes off, but you know, you guys aren't really gonna see that. So, and he also asked, is there a height restriction for special operations dudes? And there's not. Some of the better operators are the smaller guys. You know, there's a lot of advantages to being smaller and more mobile. Like I used to fly through obstacle courses, and you know, at 155 pounds, I think I look great with my clothes off, but you know, you guys aren't really gonna see that. So, and he also asked, is there a height restriction for special operations dudes? And there's not. Some of the better operators are the smaller guys. You know, there's a lot of advantages to being smaller and more mobile. Like I used to fly through obstacle courses, and And yeah, I mean, like, I think when you throw a rucksack on your back that's, 80 or 100 or 120 pounds, we'd have loads on our bodies that were like with the parachute up to 170 pounds sometimes. And for that, yeah, I think it's an advantage to be bigger, but again, like there's no restrictions, and smaller guys, as long as they have that pound for pound strength, can do really well. What's your current daily workout plan? Asked Steven. So again, like I always do, my exercise program always consists of what I'm trying to develop for you guys. And right now I'm working on the live schedule for 2019, which is basically going to consist of Bodyweight Training 2.0, Bodyweight Rehab, and the sports-specific workouts, along with ladder workouts, which is like full body strength training. But one of the ways that I'm creating this video content now, it's in a very flexible way. So basically I'm creating like EFX it consists of 3 complexes. So I'm recording these different like complexes or workout segments. And then my plan is to have like a playlist in Mark Lauren On Demand, where each day I can basically just select these different parts of different workouts, like a rehab module, and then a couple of ladder modules, and then maybe end with like a swimming complex, and it'll play back to back. And each day I'll be able to push out unique workouts like that. He also asked, how can I build muscle and lower my body fat? Unless you're a beginner, it's going to be hard to do both at the same time. You kind of have to pick and do one thing at a time. But I would say, like, generally just train, right? Train for strength, and eat when you're hungry and stop when you're not, right? And your body will adapt naturally. I'm still a little congested. I feel like my head's going to explode. He also asked, is it possible to build size without weights? Yes, absolutely. I think it's easier with weights though. But still, like, bodyweight training should be your foundation, because it's going to improve those basic fundamental skills you need in order to absorb that force properly. Someone asked, is it safe to drink whey protein? Yes. Another Mark asks, he's in his mid-40s, and he switched to bodyweight training because of some injuries and illness. Okay, so he wants to know, yeah, again, so a lot of these questions are just basically about like how to structure your workout programs, and how to structure the workouts. And there really isn't like one answer. You have those things need to depend on the situation and what works for you now, right? Or let's say I give you some recommendation and it works for you now, right? It may work for you for the next couple of months, but that doesn't mean that it's forever going to keep working, because your body's adapting. And if you're adapting, that means that eventually you'll be adapted, and that recommendation will no longer work. So you constantly have to vary stress and volume, right? Using the right type of movements that are going to improve skill, or basically like they're gonna improve performance in your day-to-day life or sport in some meaningful way. So again, my best answer is Mark Lauren On Demand in 2019. I'm rolling out that today's workout, and it's going to be comprehensive as far as like, to answer your question, Mark, strength, active recovery, high intensity interval training, endurance, etc. Oh yeah. Oh, lots of questions. How are you guys doing? You guys good? No, I don't do Muay Thai anymore. Not really. I mean, I'm not against it, but and, I have to kind of like pick and choose my battles so I can stay in shape. And if I do a lot of Muay Thai, then it's going to take energy from these workouts that I'm developing for you guys. And it also interferes with, I use myself as a guinea pig largely, and I really believe like people's needs are not that much different. So I try to keep my slate as clean as possible and not throw in too many variables. So Muay Thai is taking a back seat, but I miss it. Rocco and Maya want to know what's for lunch. Ooh, good question. I could make some rice and eggs, I guess. Peter asked, what's your main cardio? At this point, like, all these workouts involve, they challenge your cardiovascular system. If I'm doing something that's just purely cardio, I guess, it would just be walking, maybe some variety of jogging and sprinting added into it, and swimming or biking or something like that. But I never like to think of my training as like cardio, because I like, or even like strength training or this and that. Like, I like to think of my training as skill-based, which means like, what skill am I trying to improve? And if I'm going for a walk, which I guess would be cardio, then I feel like I'm not working on my cardio, I'm working on my ability to walk, which I think is important to my survival and just overall performance. Same with swimming or biking and things like that. I never think about cardio or like burning calories when I work out. You're purely just about being good at the things that I need to be good at, Like sometimes I practice doing the multiplications table because like I want to be good at math. No labels. Yeah, I mean, it's just conventions that we like use to talk about things, but I understand. Cardio, like I think of cardio more than, I think of better, like I use cardio for active recovery a lot, but again, it's just about skill development. Hey Mark, I daily practice the one-arm push-up, currently 45 centimeters elevated. It's going to be great. So one of the things that I'm gonna keep creating more ladder workouts, and you guys see, like, this is like my little, sorry guys, this is like my little studio here, and I'm creating a lot of like new workouts for you guys, and I'm gonna start, like I just did ladders for pushing, pulling, pistols, and Bulgarian split squats, and in January, once we're done editing all this content, in December, I'm gonna do single movements. So I'll do like some one-arm push-up type stuff and pulling as well. 7 times 9. 63 with that cough. Mark's side note, look into pastured eggs. They have more on the occasion. Okay, copy. Okay, Mike wants me to talk a little bit about intermittent fasting. I think it's great. I think it's great to stop eating every once in a while. And, I won't talk about all the keto stuff or whatever that everybody else is talking about. I think a really basic, simple, like the way I look at it is that eating requires energy, and everything we do is a form of stress. So I think it's really good every once in a while to give ourselves a break from having to process all that food. So just to stop eating for X number of hours, then I think especially longer periods, let's say 14 to 24 hours, they allow your body to dedicate its limited energy to healing other parts of your body, or just to healing and recovering instead of processing all that food. I've definitely noticed that I don't really do intermittent fasting every day. I really don't hold myself to any kind of schedule when it comes to eating. I do it very intuitively. I've been doing it for a long time, but yeah, I like to once a week do an intermittent fast, or basically just fast for 14, 20, 24 hours, and it makes me feel better. I think it's great for my skin and everything else. So I believe in it. And I think it's great just to not eat for a while, because I think it improves self-control. A lot of times, we stop eating for we skipped breakfast and it's 2 p.m. or something. We're like, oh my God, I'm gonna die, right? It turns out like everything's fine. And one of the key skills to practice with fasting is that when you break fast, eat, but stop when you're not hungry anymore. Like, don't stuff yourself because you have this idea in your head that you're so hungry. So it's really an exercise of self-control, and it gives your body a break to heal itself. So I'm a fan. What about the 5-2 intermittent approach? There's so many different ways that you can, it's just like all these different diets are a lot like all these different exercise programs. Like, there's not like one single solution that's always gonna work for you for the rest of your life. Your body's adapting. Like right now, you're in a constant state of adaptation, right? So your body wants to find a balance, right? A state of homeostasis. So basically, if your body, like if you're applying some kind of like stress to it, or you're eating a certain way, your body's gonna start adapting to it, and eventually it's gonna be adapted, which means it's no longer gonna adapt. I sound like a broken record, right? But I think you guys get the point. You gotta switch it up, you gotta stay flexible, and just play around with stuff too. Or just do what I tell you to, So, but on the nutrition side of things, like right now for Mark Lauren On Demand, I'm really more focused on the movement side of things, and to really give you guys like some really simple, clear programming and ways to use that content. And later I'm gonna turn my attention to the diet portion of it. But try it, the 5-2 fasting, and find out if it works. And probably if it works, it's not gonna work forever. Bye, Isa. Okay, all right, let's see, a couple more questions. It's already been 50 minutes. Jason asks, for single leg squats or pistols, is it okay to bend the leg you're not squatting with? Yeah, it's okay, but try to straighten it. Joseph asks, what are some bodyweight movements that can increase straight arm scapular stability? The starfish in Bodyweight Training 2.0. And also the 90-day challenge. Valerie asks about the content that I'm planning. I don't have anything focused like specifically for the core, because I think that I just like more comprehensive stuff. But I certainly could, I guess. Right now it's not on my plan, Valeria. So, but again, like, if you're doing these movements properly, you need core stability. The core is what ties everything together. So the core is like, it's always involved. I think like if you really want to challenge your core, you have to challenge yourself to do the movements properly. Do them perfectly. So set up a camera from different angles, like the side, the front, and look at yourself. Are you long? Are you straight while you're doing these movements? Like the movements, the lines should be pretty. And if you're doing that, then your core is definitely engaged, and that's going to be the best way to train your core. Do the movements perfectly. But of course, it's a progression, right? So like, look at yourself and see how you're doing the movement, and then the next time you do the movement, try to do them a little bit more correctly, right? You're not going to go from like where you are to perfect. It's a progression, and be happy with any kind of progress you get. Eric asks, if you have tight hamstrings, how can you approach exercises, specifically A-frames, that require more flexibility? It has been a challenge for both me, pushing 50, and my son, 16. I would say generally, the best way to get good at anything is by doing that thing itself, and just do it the best that you can. And again, just be satisfied with gradual progress. Just keep doing that exercise. And of course you can also stretch. So using the 90-day challenge cool down is a good stretching cool down, and you can find that on Mark Lauren On Demand. And of course also the 90-day challenge DVD set. Michael would like to see some pre-ski season conditioning workouts, anything like that in the works. Overall, for athletic ability, I think my best solution is Bodyweight Training 2.0. So I would check that out, Michael. You know, that exercise program focuses on the joint alignment that you need for locomotion, and skiing is locomotion. It's a form of locomotion. Kent asks, are you considering adaptability in your e-service? So I guess that's muscular and on-demand. What about if you have a bad joint? It would be nice to opt out of certain exercises and get others instead. Thinking about that. Okay, crazy Mark, my long-term plan, right, is I basically want to create like AI Mark eventually, that you give it, it's basically going to customize exercise programs based off of the information that it gets from you. So there'll be it'll be interactive and it'll truly be customized. But to really make it meaningful, I'm still a pretty long way off from that. And I think like this next step is progress in the right direction for the live schedule for muscular and on demand. We're basically like, I'm going to get better at programming for you guys, but I'm going to treat the subscribers of muscular and on demand basically as a single person, right? And I'm going to be doing those workouts, and I'm going to offer them to you, and I'm going to ask for your feedback with live sessions like this. And of course, also the feedback I get through Intercom. Eventually, I want to start automating that process. Basically, like I'm going to have a machine follow the same rules that I follow to create workout programs for you, and it'll become more interactive. But I don't want to rush that and just like create things that give the appearance of customization. Yeah, because I got a plan for you guys, you know, but it's a long-term plan. And additionally, like app development, it's super expensive, you know, and I finance everything. Like it's just like me paying for this stuff, so I have to be pretty conservative with how I do it. You know, I don't have like a bunch of investors or something like that, because I want to maintain control of what I'm doing. But yeah, Ken, I definitely think about it, you know, and it's in the works. It's just going to take a few years. Ilias asks about, you know, he has damage to his knee. Guys, I'm not like a doctor, and I can't sit here behind a computer, behind my phone, and give you guys responsible answers. You gotta go see your doctor about that, and then start really easy. You know, bodyweight rehab. But again, like I can't really answer that, to be honest. You gotta be careful. Peter, do you need to drink whey protein? Yeah, if you're not eating enough. Do you take any supplements? I haven't lately. I get blood work every 6 months to see what vitamins I'm deficient in. And then, you know, so now I'm taking some B vitamins and D3. And beyond that, I really just try to eat a variety of fresh foods. I eat a lot of eggs. When do I plan to be in Munich again? So beginning of April. I'm gonna do 3 courses in Germany: Hamburg, Cologne, and Munich. I think Hamburg and Munich will be 2.0, and Cologne will be rehab at the Queen Rania Rehabilitation Center again at the University of Cologne. And we're gonna post those soon. That's all I got, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm going to answer more of these questions just via, you know, I'll be typing it out. But I think first I'm going to take a nap so I can recover from my travels. And yeah, guys, so again, the main thing I'm working on right now is we have a pretty massive like editing and video production effort going on, and we're producing that video content in ways that I can like keep rearranging the parts of it to create a wide variety of workouts. And it's going to make it really easy for me to push out a lot of new workouts and it's going to make it really easy for me to program to create long-term workout structures for you. But you guys don't have to think about it. So all these questions basically like, how should I structure my workouts, etc. You don't have to ask those questions anymore because I'm going to give you my best answer through Mark Lorne On Demand with that live schedule, okay? So again, like my job is, I feel like, to make your life as easy as possible and to handle that portion of it for you. So yeah. All right. That's all. And thanks for tuning in. All right, guys. Oh, hey, I guess I could, I was thinking about doing a live workout next week again to show you like some of these ladder workouts. So I don't know, like, let me know if you guys want me to, but next Saturday I could do another one and I'll do a tutorial. I'll basically give you like a demo of some of the content I'm creating for January. So let me know if you guys are interested in that. All right, peace out.